con enfoques inclusivos de género y derechos humanos. Somos conscientes que las transformaciones producen incertidumbre, incluso miedo, que podrían paralizar a algunos, pero no debemos paralizarnos. Es posible un cambio transformacional con crecimiento económico y mejora de la calidad de vida. Avancemos juntos, pues, para alcanzar lo que parece hoy imposible. Si la casa está en llamas, el temor no debe paralizarnos, sino debe ser el motor de la acción para inspirarnos. Muchas gracias y pura vida.
Thank you, Excellency. I would now like to invite to the stage His Excellency Muhammad Yusuf Kalla, Vice President of Indonesia.
Yang terhormat para kepala negara dan kepala pemerintahan, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Izinkanlah saya memulai dengan menyampaikan kita mendengar suaramu, Greta Thunberg. Dunia sebagai rumah bersama, rumah kita diambang kehancuran. Kita berada dalam keadaan darurat iklim. Cuaca ekstrim yang disebabkan oleh perubahan iklim telah membuat negara yang rawan bencana menjadi lebih rentan. Indonesia sebagai contohnya. 50 tahun yang lalu, hutan Indonesia 150 juta hektar menjadi paru-paru dunia bersama Amazon. Sekarang sangat berkurang menjadi 90 juta. Wilayah Sumatera dan Kalimantan justru menjadi semakin parah akibat dampak perubahan.
Measures to tackle this huge challenge. We no longer have the luxury nor the option but to increase our adaptation and mitigation for climate change ambition. To take concrete yet realistic climate actions. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia has taken various steps to curb greenhouse gases emission with an ambitious target of 29% with own resources and up to 41% with international support by 2030. Indonesia has launched the Low Carbon Development Initiative, an initiative that goes hand in hand with economic and social benefits. Indonesia has also intensified its climate actions through nature-based solutions by restoring 2 million hectares of peatlands and rehabilitating 12 million hectares of degraded land by 2030. And rigorously conserving and restoring mangrove and coastal areas. Energy transition by removing fossil fuel subsidies, stipulating a mandatory biodiesel policy, and developing green fuel refineries. Indonesia will establish a dedicated environmental funding facility to facilitate climate financing and support other environmental programs. We invite international partners to join in our funding facility. Ladies and gentlemen, the successful implementation of Paris Agreement lies not on individual but on collective efforts. On the energy transition, We urge the scaling up of funding support and technology transfers for affordable and accessible renewable energy. On sustainable oceans, we need to accelerate progress on ocean-based climate actions. Indonesia cannot do this alone. Climate action needs collective actions. Together, we need to build a healthy planet for the future of human race. Our children and their children deserve a safe future. I thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I would now like to invite to the stage His Excellency Wang Yi, State Counselor and Special Representative of President Xi Jinping from China.
Your Excellency, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, ladies and gentlemen, China highly commends and supports the Secretary General's initiative for convening this summit. Climate change is a common challenge to all countries. To jointly tackle this challenge and protect the planet we all call home will be a journey critical to the future and destiny of mankind. In tackling climate change, we must first be determined to win the fight. We must honor our commitments, follow through on the Paris Agreement and its implementation guidelines, and see to it that both this summit and the COP25 will produce positive outcomes that will inject fresh impetus into the post-2020 multilateral process. The withdrawal of certain parties will not shake the collective will of the international community, nor will it possibly reverse the historical trend of international cooperation. Second, be prepared to take sustained actions. We must ensure that our climate actions are mutually reinforcing with our socio-economic endeavors, realize a transformation toward green and low-carbon development, and enhance climate resilience in the process of accelerating development. We must mobilize stakeholders and resources across all sectors to scale up pre-2020 actions to avoid shifting responsibilities to the post-2020 process. Third, be committed to cooperation. We must uphold multilateralism, especially the principles of common but differentiated responsibilities. Respect the need for development and the special conditions of developing countries and help them build preparedness. Developed countries, on their part, need to take the lead in reducing emissions and honor their commitment of mobilizing $100 billion a year in climate finance by 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, as a responsible member of the international community, China honors its words and keeps taking actions on climate change. Well, guided by a new development philosophy, China is pursuing high-quality growth and following a path of green, low-carbon, and sustainable development. Last year, China's CO2 emissions per unit of GDP dropped by 45.8% from the 2005 level, overshooting the annual target. It is also a reduction of 5.26 billion tons of CO2 emissions. Also in 2018, its share of non-fossil fuel in primary energy consumption reached 14.2%, and the forest stock increased by 4.56 billion cubic meters from 2005. Since 2000, China has contributed to a quarter of the world's newly afforested land. Last year, China saw an increase of 1.25 million new energy vehicles, outnumbering many other countries in the world. China is also actively developing a national emissions trading market. China will faithfully fulfill our obligations under the UNFCCC and the Paris Agreement and realize as scheduled its nationally determined contribution targets submitted to the UNFCCC Secretariat. We'll continue to jointly build a green belt and road. Through the BRI International Green Development Coalition and other platforms, we are mobilizing stronger support for international cooperation against climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, co-leading the track of nature-based solutions, or NBS, China has been collaborating with many other countries and international organizations and have gained fruitful results in the following aspects. First, a deeper insight into the relations between man and nature. NBS advocates harmonious coexistence between man and nature and values ecological progress, thus fully leveraging the role of nature in enhancing the effectiveness of climate actions. Second, new measures for addressing climate change. We have proposed over 150 initiatives and set up a group of Friends for NBS mechanism to tap the mitigation potential of nature in order to cut CO2 emissions by 10 to 12 billion tons annually. Third, fresh support for the Sustainable Development Goals. We have compiled a list of over 30 case studies, including in forest carbon sink and biodiversity protection, to demonstrate how NBS can significantly promote coordinated economic, social, and environmental development, thus enabling better implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Ladies and gentlemen, long and difficult as the journey of tackling climate change may be, sustained actions will take us to the destination. By working together, we will build a clean and beautiful world where we'll enjoy shared prosperity and a shared future. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let me now invite to the floor Her Excellency Erna Solberg, Prime Minister of Norway, His Excellency Felix Chilombo Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Jimmy Morales Cabrera, President of the Republic of Guatemala, and Mr. Faber, CEO of Danone. Once again, we remind speakers, in the interests of time, to remain within the 3 minutes allotted. In this next section, we will hear examples of immediate positive action from different regions throughout the world that show us what is being achieved through nature and how the private sector is advancing with the financial shifts that are required to ensure nature-based solutions are delivered at scale. We're going to begin this session with Prime Minister Khan. Your country is increasing emissions reduction through ecosystem restoration. What can you share with us on this item?
Well, you know, 6 years ago, we discovered that Pakistan is one of the most vulnerable countries because of climate change and global warming. 80% of all the water in our rivers comes from our glaciers, which are in the Himalayas and in the Karakoram and in the Hindu Kush range. And we found that our glaciers were melting at a much faster pace. We discovered almost 5,000 glacial lakes because of global warming. So 6 years ago, we decided to plant 1 billion trees. And I'm very pleased to say that we actually planted 1.1 billion trees in the last 5 years. Now we have set ourselves a target of planting 10 billion trees in Pakistan in the next 5 years. And what we need from the world community is partnership, because clearly climate change is something which individual countries can't do anything unless and until the world gets together. Pakistan only contributes less than 1% to the greenhouse gas emissions. Yet we are number 7 country that is most vulnerable to global warming and climate change. So therefore, we are hoping that the world community contributes, joins in. My 2 fears, what I fear for the future: one, that obviously if the temperatures keep rising at the rate they are, we face catastrophe, because millions and millions of people depend on the water from our rivers. But my other worry is, and this is, I think, even more serious, that the world is not taking it as seriously as it should be. I fear that somehow some countries think that because climate change doesn't immediately affect them, they are not taking this as big as an issue it is going to be. Because eventually, no country will be not affected by climate change. What we feel is that there will be climate refugees. Already in Pakistan, because of prolonged drought in Afghanistan, there have been refugees coming into Pakistan, climate refugees. But if if the world does not take this seriously, I think the richer countries will be affected. So my appeal today, would be that powerful countries must chip in and take this seriously. Because unless the world community decides to take this challenge on, no individual countries are going to be effective. And human beings have this capacity that once they decide to fight a crisis, a challenge, they can surmount any challenges. But problem is, do they understand the gravity of the situation? And I hope by the time this conference ends, most of the world leaders do. Thank you.
Minister Khan, I understand you have to leave. Thank you for your efforts and thank you for your brevity. I appreciate it. We're going to move now to Prime Minister Solberg of Norway. Can you please share how Norway and others are enhancing climate commitments and promoting nature-based solutions to restore the ocean, reduce deforestation, and support the SDGs?
Well, Excellencies and delegates, we need to step up, to speed up, and to scale up. This is the message that the young people across the world have given us. It is reinforced by the images of devastating natural disasters, most recently from the Bahamas. And Norway is responding with increased ambition and action. We will strengthen our national determined contribution under the Paris Agreement, and we urge others to do the same. We will also submit a low-emission strategy to the UN. And I'm pleased to confirm that we will follow through on our Paris commitments to double the contributions to the Green Climate Fund